Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a look outside that weather window. And today, another cool one. We did see some clouds, and that kept our temperature down quite a bit this afternoon all around north central Washington. We thought we might get into the mid, maybe even upper 40s. It stayed around 40 and the lower 40s for most of us. Beautiful shot, though, outside our weather window from Wenatchee Heights in our cross camera. And thank you to Local Tel and Sky5 for providing these beautiful shots for us. But the reason we're seeing clouds and these cold temperatures, it's an inversion happening right now. We do have an air stagnation advisory through the rest of this week into about Thursday night. The reason we're seeing cold air at the surface, and there's high pressure off the coast that's supplying some warm air. That's overrunning the cooler air, and it's acting like a lid or a cap, and that keeps that cold air and fog right down here in the valley floor. And we can expect some fog and this inversion to continue. But the good news is, as we make our way through the week, it's going to warm up. We'll see temperatures around 50 for Wednesday, maybe mid to upper 50s Thursday, and upper 50s to maybe near 60 by the time we get into Friday. And we will talk much more weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Grant County Health District officials have created a graphic showing just how quickly and widely COVID-19 can spread in a community. The Chelan-Douglas Health District is offering another round of free drive-through COVID-19 testing this week in Wenatchee. And President Trump and fellow Republicans celebrated Monday as the Senate, by a 52-48 vote, approved the appointment of Amy Coney Barrett to the U.S. Supreme Court. But first, we begin tonight. One person was killed last night when a 1997 Toyota Camry collided with a dairy truck near Royal City in Grant County. The identity of the victim has not yet been released. The Washington State Patrol said the Camry ran a stop sign at the intersection of Highway 262 and Highway 26 and then struck the rear trailer of the dairy truck, killing the driver of the Camry. The highway was partially blocked from about 6 p.m. when the accident happened until about 11 p.m. as crews cleared that wreckage. Well, speaking of Grant County, Health District officials there have created a graphic showing just how quickly and widely COVID-19 can spread in a community. One case, called the index case, led to a cluster of 38 more known positive tests, mostly through community and family gatherings. 3 of the people in the cluster were hospitalized with the virus, one of whom didn't attend the original event. The district said there are probably more untested cases of the virus connected to that cluster. Since last Friday, Grant County has reported 24 new cases of the coronavirus. There are currently 11 Grant County residents hospitalized with COVID-19. The Chelan-Douglas Health District is offering another round of free drive-through COVID-19 testing this week in Wenatchee. Today through Friday, anyone can stop by Wenatchee High School for the self-administered test. Today through Thursday, the testing will be from 1 to 7 p.m. and then on Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Health District has been offering the free community-wide testing in towns throughout Chelan and Douglas counties, with Wenatchee and East Wenatchee the focus the past 2 weeks. President Trump and fellow Republicans celebrated Monday as the Senate, by a 52-48 vote on Monday, approved the appointment of Amy Coney Barrett to the U.S. Supreme Court. Both of Washington's senators, Maria Cantwell and Patty Murray, joined their Democratic colleagues in opposing Barrett's confirmation. Cantwell took to the Senate floor Sunday night to express her frustration with the process and the nominee, saying women's rights are at risk.
So what I find so challenging about Judge Barrett's record and the issues before us is that women's issues and these issues that we face that are so important for us to getting done are about a woman's access to health care. I can't even imagine going back to Connecticut versus Griswold, a time when we had to fight just to have contraception. That's what the privacy rights were all about. It was about a court that decided and found in our Constitution that in multiple places there are a penumbra of rights that give a privacy right to a woman to control her own body. And those privacy rights are about my constitutional rights. They're about what is guaranteed to me in the Constitution. And it's about us finding out whether a nominee is going to hold them up. And particularly at a time when we've had almost 50 years of laws that have protected those rights. But people want to have a rushed 30-day session, beginning to end, speed court nomineeing in the Mansfield room, instead of hearing from groups and organizations about their concerns on this nominee.
Coming up next, anglers over the weekend were able to test their skills at catching prime Chinook salmon while at the same time lending a hand to the Grant County PUD. For the past 2 weeks, law enforcement officers in Grant County have been taking on a push-up challenge in an effort to raise money for veterans with post-traumatic stress syndrome. And the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest is recognizing National Bat Week this week, but putting a positive spotlight on the much-maligned mammals. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Here's to 5 billion miles of amazing. 5 billion miles of...
This is so cool.
5 billion miles of helping you stay safe. 5 billion miles of passing the pump. 5 billion miles of... That's 5 billion miles driven around the world. The all-electric 2020 Nissan Leaf.
The extended range 2020 Leaf is now available at Town Nissan, right behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Hi, Stephen DeVilbus here, Branch Manager of Beneficial and Home Care. We are an equal opportunity employer and we do not discriminate in employment or services. It is our mission to maximize our clients' physical health and sense of mental well-being while remaining in the comfort of their home. We are currently seeking professional caregivers who share our mission to help our clients live safely and comfortably at home. Call Beneficial and Home Care. Schedule your interview today. 509-663-7900.
Welcome back. In another news, anglers over the weekend were able to test their skills at catching prime Chinook salmon while at the same time lending a hand to the Grant County PUD. Called King of the Reach, the 3-day fishing derby netted about 1,000 of the wild origin salmon. The event at the Hanford Reach west of Richland was sponsored by the PUD and the Coastal Conservation Association. After being caught, the Chinooks are transported by truck to the PUD's Priest Rapids hatchery, where they'll be used as brood stock in the PUD's salmon restoration efforts. Well, for the past 2 weeks, law enforcement officers in Grant County have been taking on a push-up challenge in an effort to raise money for veterans with post-traumatic stress syndrome. Called the Mission 22 Challenge, Moses Lake Police called out the Grant County Sheriff's Office's Alpha crew. Those deputies were up to the task, donating $25 and then doing 25 push-ups. All that was under the watchful eye of Canine Hawk, who then was coaxed into doing some push-ups of his own. Take a look.
Deputy McDonald, the Grant County Sheriff's Office.
I'm Erica Aldaco with the Grant County Sheriff's Office.
I'm Deputy Erica with the Grant County Sheriff's Office.
Corporal Jason Ball with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. We were challenged by Captain Dave Sands of the Moses Lake Police Department to do the Mission 22 challenge for PTSDs for veterans. So Captain Sands, challenge accepted.
The Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest is recognizing National Bat Week this week, but putting a positive spotlight on the much-maligned mammals. The Forest Service points out that bats provide pollination, pest control, and seed dispersal. Among the facts being shared by the Forest Service is that bats can consume their weight in insects in one night of feeding. And when born, they can weigh 1/3 of their mother's body weight, which is the equivalent of a 100-pound woman having a 33-pound baby. The Forest Service points out that more than half the bat species in the United States are in severe decline or listed as endangered. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Wenatchee's Gene Jessup has documented his days as a smoke jumper for the U.S. Forest Service in a new book called Between Heaven and Earth, The Adventures of a Smoke Jumper. Jessup was hired as a smoke jumper in 1955 at age 17. He began writing short stories of his adventures, and that eventually led to his book. In tonight's features story, he sat down recently with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz and talked about what a tight-knit group smoke jumpers are.
I never feared for my life. I trusted the aircraft, the pilot, the people, the parachute. I trusted them implicitly. In 1958, when I was there, we had a smoke jumper plane crashed, and 4 of our friends were killed in that crash, and that was a traumatic experience. In that we had lost people that we really cared for and loved, but even out of that, the 22 rookie jumpers who were on that fire went back, completed their training, and made their jumps. So it's I don't know. I guess it's the camaraderie and you know, I'm not going to. I'm going to complete my jumps, no, come hell or high water.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to all those details, outside we go this afternoon. This is how it looked around the Wenatchee Valley as we look down from Wenatchee Heights. We call it our cross camera, and thank you to Sky-Fi. What a beautiful fall picture of the Wenatchee Valley, but it was a cold one out there once again. How cold? That's right, we broke another record, 25, our overnight low this morning, and that breaks our previous record of 26 degrees set back in 1970. Moses Lake, you did it too. 18 degrees, your overnight low tonight, and that breaks the 19-degree temperature mark set back in 2002. So that's the third record in a row that we've either tied or set since Saturday night. So it's been a cold one, but there is light at the end of the tunnel today. 40 degrees our unofficial, I should say, high temperature. It just couldn't warm up out there with that inversion happening. Warm air over the top of cold, and that kept us cool. 54 is our normal high. 25, there's that record low this morning, and that's well below 37 where we should be. Record high 71 in 2003, and record low was 26 set back in 1970. Sunrise 7:38, and the sun will set tonight at 5:51, or should I say late this afternoon, and just wait till Sunday and Monday, right? For tomorrow, things will begin to slowly moderate as far as temperatures go. I think we'll see a few more clouds tomorrow as a weak little system rumbles across the southern part of Canada. Won't bring us any moisture, but 51s for Quincy, Ephrata, and Moses Lake right here in Wenatchee as well. So that is a pretty nice warm up if it gets there. We'll have to wait and see. 50 for Chelan and 49 the high temperature tomorrow up in Okanagan County for you folks in Omak. As we take a look at our surface loop tonight, increasing clouds. Here's that area of high pressure that's really dominating our weather right now. It's bringing the warm air in. There's cold air already in place, so that's creating that lid or an inversion right now here in the Wenatchee Valley. It won't be quite as cold tonight. That's good news because of the cloud cover. And then as we get into Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies. It will be slightly warmer. You notice all the blues, which are 40s and 30-degree temperatures well away from us, and we will get back into the upper 40s to lower 50s. Thursday, it could be foggy, so keep that in mind as you make that morning commute on Thursday. Turning mostly sunny in the afternoon and even a little bit warmer. Notice the yellows. That's 50 and even some 60-degree temperatures down in the Tri-Cities. I think that's a definite possibility. And by Friday, partly cloudy skies. Here's that area of low pressure that was here, and it's moving across the southern part of Canada, and that could bring us a little bit of cloudiness, but much warmer temperatures by Friday. By the end of the week, we're talking highs in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees, and I think many locations will hit 60. And then by Saturday and Halloween, if you're out and about, of course, be careful this year, but it should be beautiful. Mostly sunny. Temperatures will remain above normal on Saturday, mainly into the upper 50s, and not much change for Sunday either. Mostly sunny and just a fantastic way to end our weekend with highs once again above normal. We're talking on again about upper 50s or so, and not much will change as we get into our early week next week for Monday. Big dome of high pressure still over the Pacific Northwest. That'll bring us mostly sunny skies and temperatures still above normal, with most of us statewide in the 50s and 60s. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. How about that for an improvement? 36 overnight tonight, partly cloudy, and 51 tomorrow. 54 for Thursday, and look at that beautiful warm-up. 58 on Friday. Halloween looks beautiful, mostly sunny, and 57, and we'll stay in the upper 50s right through Sunday and into Monday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Hope, oxygen to your soul, color in your world, a light to your future.
Difficult to qualify and quantify,
yet you know when it's lacking.
So many things have promised us hope,
but have left us feeling hopeless and empty.
Real hope is able to stand firm even on the darkest day of the soul, and still say with the prophet Jeremiah,
"For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord.
Plans to prosper you and not to harm you.
Plans to give you a hope and a future."
The Apostle Paul declared to a young church in Rome,
"May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace,
as you trust in him,
so that you may overflow with hope
by the power of the Holy Spirit."
If our God is a God of hope, then maybe it's your turn to experience a hope that cannot be shaken
or destroyed.
And maybe it's time to hope again.
Maybe it's time to become a generation of hope.
What if the same God that raised Christ Jesus from the dead
can resurrect your hope?
Maybe it's time to hope again.
I have fiber at home because it allows me to do a great job in my profession. It allows me to learn things that I need to learn at home. It allows my kids to hopefully one day be able to be educated because of what they learned online and what they learned from their teachers. And it allows us to have fun too as a family. and we're able to do a lot of things because of fiber internet. I'm Rudy, and my family learns with fiber.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. A week ago, Wenatchee Valley College announced it would add former coach and athletic director Sandy Cooprider's name to the sports complex on the college campus. He says hearing the news last week was an extreme honor.
Real interesting. A friend of mine found out, and he texted me back, and he says, you know what, this is really a neat honor for you because you're still alive. And most of the time what happens is when somebody dies, then afterwards they name the facility or building after them, and then they don't have really a chance to enjoy it. And so for me, I was really humbled, and I was honored and very excited.
So Paul Thomas Senior Baseball Stadium, North Rotary Softball Field, and Mike Hollis Soccer Field will now be known as the Cooprider Sport Fields Complex. Cooprider says he hopes his life's work makes a lasting impact.
Making a difference, and I think believing. You know, I've put my heart and soul into Wenatchee Valley College. I played here for 2 years. I coached and taught for 44 years. I just finished doing part-time teaching for another 5 years. So you add that up, you know, I'm 73 years old. That's a big part of my life. And I think I would like to be known for a person that cared about young people, give them opportunities to make a difference in their lives, which we have done.
Cooprider set the wheels in motion on developing the sports complex at the college back in the early 90s. He says he wanted a quality place for kids to play baseball, softball, and soccer in the Wenatchee Valley. He says sports is important in a child's development, especially today.
I had some kids that were pretty good athletes, and you know, a lot of times they said, well, they're good because of you. And I said, no, they're not. It's because they had a work ethic, okay? And I think if you instill a work ethic in young people, they can accomplish a lot. It's hard, I think, these days because you're competing against Fortnite, you're competing against all kinds of other things on social media. I mean, you can get immersed in the social media thing, and it can take you in so many different directions. And so I think sport is a catalyst for young kids, especially today. And, you know, the more involvement they can have, I think it's way better for them than sitting behind a screen and playing a video game for 24 hours a day.
We'll hear more from Sandy Cooprider about the struggles he endured in building the complex that now bears his name and how the community helped make it happen as we continue this week here on the NCWLIFE channel. Well, Game 6 of the World Series is tonight in Arlington, Texas. It's a chance for Los Angeles to win its first title since 1988. Dodgers lead the best-of-7 series 3-2 after Sunday's 4-2 win. Taking the hill tonight with a chance to clinch the championship is Tony Gonsolin. Now, he's 0-2 in the postseason with a 9.39 ERA. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay will try to stave off elimination by sending ace Blake Snell to the mound. Snell's 2-2 in the postseason with a 3.33 ERA. The game is now underway at Globe Life Field, and the rest of the series, as always, has been on Fox Television if you want to watch. Well, Coach Pete Carroll met with reporters Monday after getting a chance to review Sunday night's 37-34 overtime loss to Arizona. He says having their undefeated run end and falling the way they did might have a positive impact down the road.
Because there was a few things that happened really across the board. There was a couple penalties in special teams. There was a couple critical penalties, you know, that really changed the game. We've been really good, you know, with our numbers of penalties, but that was a factor in there. When we had our chance to finish, and, you know, look, we finished the game with DK in the end zone, but we had the penalty that brings it back, you know. So I think it's just allows us to really hammer home how important it is to do things right, particularly as you're finishing down the stretch, and do things right longer than the other guys. You know, that's basically what it's all about, to be a great finishing team. And I think this couldn't be more clear. The illustrations, when we watch the film today, the guys will totally get it and understand it, and it'll just make the messaging that much stronger.
Russell Wilson passed and ran for over 400 yards total with 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions. Coach Carroll says the bad should not outweigh the good.
It was a spectacular game for him in a number of ways, but it all gets clouded and mired in 3 picks, and we've talked about him a little bit that, the first one, they were just unusual situations that happened. They weren't normal type of situations, and I don't think this is the kind of stuff that's going to keep coming. I really didn't like the last one in particular. Russ really tried to push something in that wasn't really available. He made a tough decision there, but so the takeaways, they'll discourage you from being excited about his game, but he really played really well and made a ton of great throws in the game and great decisions to run too. So that's just life for the quarterback.
Now, Seattle's defense continued to struggle mightily on Sunday, allowing Arizona to rack up 519 yards of offense, convert over 40% on third down, failed to get any pressure on Kyler Murray. Carroll was asked if there's added pressure on defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr.
We're continuing to work. I'm in there too with them, so I'm all part of that, and I'm not separated from anything here. That we have to keep working to put our players in the best positions to be aggressive and to be effective, and we need to help them more in our pressure. And we did not try to get after them very much last night. We didn't. That was not part of the plan going in. And when we needed it, we needed to adjust. And I wish I would have got that done. Kenny and I are in that working that stuff out, and so my assessment is that we're working really hard with our guys to get them in the right spots. I'd really like to feel the continuity of everybody that we can count on. We're not quite there yet. And I really think that because of the intent and the focus and the guys playing hard and running and hitting, that we're going to make a turn. And we're going to turn for the better, and it's going to make a big difference in this season.
Several players also injured in Sunday's loss, including running backs Chris Carson with a foot, Carlos Hyde with a hamstring, Travis Horner with a knee, as well as cornerback Shaquille Griffin with concussion. Carroll says they'll have to see how the week goes to see who's available on Sunday when Seattle hosts San Francisco. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Koontz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. On Wednesday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, our old friend Ginny Kerstetter will be dropping by to talk about the Hope Care Clinic. It's going to help out anybody who has dental or medical needs and don't have the dough to pony up to get it taken care of. We still need to have our mouths checked, that kind of deal. They do good work. Ginny Kerstetter is going to talk about the Hope Care Clinic and also the big fundraiser they have coming up later on in the month of November. We'll talk about the 116th World Series. Are the Dodgers going to walk home with their first championship in 32 years? We'll find out tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Go Dodgers! Grant, back to you.
Got my fingers crossed, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or just give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
2021 models are arriving at Sangster Motors. General Motors is on the move with the all-new 2021 Yukon. Yukon is redesigned from the ground up with a bold new look and all the latest technology. Also new is the Canyon AT4 pickup. This off-road equipped mid-size truck will challenge any rival for performance and value. Both of these models will offer Duramax diesel options for maximum power and economy. The American Challenge is game on at Sangster Motors now.
Pybus Public Market's motto is where community meets. Whether it's people, enjoying an event, or they meet a colleague for coffee and whip out their laptop and are able to actually do work here, having quick and reliable Wi-Fi is one of the things that makes Pybus such a great community hub. It just contributes to the welcoming place that we want Pybus to be. I'm Allie, and fiber keeps people connected, and that's what Pybus Market is all about.